friend. So glad you could join us before heading further north up to the Arctic.
Thank you for having me. Is he here yet?
No, not yet, but let me introduce you to some of my other guests.
Meeting new people. I'm nervous.
Not to fear, my dear friend. This is Lizzie Bennett. She came all the way from England, and she doesn't let prejudice cloud her judgment. Well, not anymore anyway.
Hello there.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I don't care about these people. I'm here for Godot.
And this is Professor Henry Higgins.
Linguist specialist and phonetics expert. Who's this ugly guy?
And this is why I hate people.
No, now, Professor. No need to be so rude. I don't know what to do.
Anyway, this is Portia, Belmontian royalty.
Nice to meet you. Any friend of Hamlet is a friend of mine.
Oh, you're from Belmont? I heard they have the best school system in the state. Is it true what they say about the Mr. Lucia?
Not that one.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
It's okay, common mistake.
It's not okay.
And Hamlet, who's that guy over there?
Oh, that's just Rambert.
He's survived the plague and all, but I'd keep your distance if I were you. We don't know if he's still carrying it.
Hamlet, just out of curiosity, are we going to be eating anytime soon?
Oh, absolutely. The little boy has just told me that Godot will be running a little bit late, but we should definitely sit down without him. I doubt he's coming. Everyone says he's a flake. So come.
So, should we eat or wait for Godot?
It's only proper to wait. Why is that even a question?
Well, I think we should all have the opportunity to make our own decisions as an individual about whether or not we should eat. We don't have to conform to social pressures.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I don't understand why you're talking.
What? I came here, I can talk.
I'm pretty sure you were invited for decoration, so you should probably keep your opinion out of the conversation.
Excuse me, but just because I happen to be a woman does not make my opinions any less valuable, and I can say whatever I wish to say. Women are not second-class citizens, regardless of anything prejudiced society believes. Women have the power to make their own decisions and speak when they choose to do so, and there is no one who has the right to tell me I cannot speak. Women can do just about anything men can do, including deciding who they wish to marry and getting a comparable education. I don't care that Mr. Collins was a nice man. I told him no because I didn't want to marry him. I'm not a piece of property. My fate decided by others. Sorry, I have some feelings that I have not entirely worked through.
Women.
Why do I even try?
The fact that you have to comment displays your ignorance of the changing times. It's people like you that are taking basic human rights away from women.
Anyways, are we gonna eat or not?
To eat or not to eat? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the stomach to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous hunger, or to take arms against the sea of starvation, and by eating, end them.
Hamlet, maybe we should discuss dinner.
Rambert! Stop! Speaking can spread your germs!
Hamlet, if I may, a life with no purpose is meaningless. I have experienced extreme solitude. I have had no purpose, and it filled me with anger and spite. When I was first created, my creator, Victor Frankenstein, was so horrified by me, he left me simply by the sight of me. Companionship, for instance, is important to a meaningful life, because without it, one is isolated.
Isolation is an enemy I know well. For over a year, I was stuck in Iran while my love was in Paris, and I could not return to her because...
Rambert! What did I tell you about speaking? I'm sorry, my friend, but in order to protect my friends at this dinner party, I must request you to leave the mask on.
Iran has been declared free from plague. I don't think Hamlet really understands how germs work.
Dinner party.
Well, if some people did not have excessive pride and prejudice towards others, then we would be able to eat.
Preach, sister. Prejudice has brought me nothing but pain and suffering. I have been judged based on my ugly appearance time and time again, whether it be by my creator or by townspeople. I have been judged and feared, and I have been all alone because of it. Prejudice has isolated me completely.
Pride is a dangerous tribute to have as well. I know many men who have let their pride get in the way. They pay dearly for it. You know, all that glisters is not gold.
Please. Pride and prejudice are hardly the worst qualities a man can have. Everyone in some way, in some form, has pride and prejudice. The worst thing a man,
Or women.
sure, a worst thing a man or woman can have is disloyalty. Betrayal is the darkest sin mankind has created. And what is worse than betrayal? Betrayal by one's own kin, by one's own flesh and blood. Do any of you know the pain that I have felt, or the grief that has befallen me? Because my own father was killed by my uncle. And then my own mother, my mother here, she has traded in her loyalty to me and my father for power. She traded it in for power by getting into bed with that snake, my uncle.
I, for one, should know betrayal. Victor Frankenstein created me, and for what? A science experiment? He is not one to decide who should and should not live. When he created me, he was not satisfied with my appearance, horrified, in fact, and left me on my own. How can he decide to create me only to leave me? He betrayed me, which is why I seek my revenge.
Hamlet and the monster are right. Loyalty is key in any relationship, especially with a husband or a family member. I tested my husband to see if he would betray me for another woman, and he did. It was heartbreaking, but I believe it's better to know if someone would betray you than to just blindly hope that they'd be loyal.
You want to talk about loyalty? Okay, I'll tell you about loyalty. I stayed in the town of Iran, even though it was infested with the plague, because I had a duty to prevent the spread of the plague. We were committed to fighting the plague as a community, rather than as individuals. Taru started the sanitation squad, and I joined because I had an obligation to the town. Sure, it increased my chances of contracting plague, but the alternative was not an option for me. I developed a sense of community in Iran. Despite being a stranger in the beginning, I helped the people. I watched them die, and I watched them heal. We all have a commitment to the greater good, the good of society as a whole. Otherwise, how could we ever advance as a society if we only think of ourselves? I came here tonight to ask the Godot why it took me so long to learn this valuable life lesson. But to get back to loyalty, I could not just leave the town, despite my desire to return to my wife. I stayed loyal to the town because I knew it would provide everyone with the most amount of happiness, or rather, the least amount of displeasure from all the deaths. And Portia, I see that look on your face, but leaving Iran, or not leaving Iran, does not make me a bad husband.
Well, he has the right to make his own decisions and has not the duty to be with his wife at all times. She is a strong, independent woman who does not need a husband protecting her.
Well, regardless of whether I should have escaped to be with my wife, I'm just glad to be done with the plague. It knew no bounds. Everyone was in danger, from the lowly peasants to the wealthy and the town officials. It transcended all barriers, including social class.
I'm not so sure about that. Social class seems to have a pretty large impact on how people act towards others in society. I am not even part of the lower class, and I have fallen victim to the rude mannerisms of the wealthy.
Oh my god! Based off of what I've seen so far, I'd bet good money that it's not just your social class that causes people to dislike you.
Well, at least I don't have to insult people and treat them as though they are less of a human being just to gain some respect.
Enough! I did not invite you here to discuss and to bicker and to banter over useless topics.
Well then, what did you invite us here for, Hammy? Because it clearly wasn't for dinner.
Useless topics? Feminism, loyalty, social justice are all useless to you, Prince? I don't think so.
That's I can't stand the fighting anymore. I have a revenge quest to go on.
I survived the plague. I've seen the hideous things of this world, but you are something that shouldn't even be in this world. Like, what are you?
Why did you invite it?
I'm ugly and I'm proud.
Whoa, lay off. He's been through enough already. He's been shunned and rejected from society time and time again. He doesn't need any more from you.
Yeah, every person I have met has shunned me simply on my ugly appearance. I have been rejected from society completely.
You don't know a thing about prejudice, Hamlet. How could you know about the pressures from the higher class? The immediate judgment of being from a lower class? You do not understand not being allowed to marry the person you love because their family has more money than yours. Prince Hamlet has always been on the top of the food chain.
I have my struggles. You don't know my life.
Royalty must face struggles, just as the poor must.
Social class is a ridiculous human construct. Why do we even bother talking about it when there's disease, famine, natural disasters, death that can come upon us at any time?
There is no point to this dinner, to life, to death.
I swear, if Godot does not show up in the next minute, I'm out.
I thought this was supposed to be a party, but instead I showed up to meet a horrendous monster, two stupid ladies with crazy ideals, and some random guy spreading the plague everywhere.
Oh,
You know what?
What are we doing?
Waiting for Godot.
Go.
I'm ugly and I'm proud. Can I do it again? I definitely laughed at the end.
Ring it, Kinsey.
Let's try that again. The doorbell sounded weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
One more time. To eat or not to eat? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the stomach to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous hunger, or to take arms against. Okay, we should make it bigger. And by eating, end them. Was that my line? Was that it?
Yeah.
Was anyone following along? Was that it?
Okay, so let me stop it here. Do I have to be wearing the mask? When does that happen?
Oh, dang it!
No!
I'm thinking of all this.
Looks like a fool.
It's okay.
You force me to take a snack and make
Okay, we do.
Sorry, no laughing. Alright, let's do this.
It's honestly so hard for me to follow.
We got this.
Okay, we do.
Alright.
Okay.
I need to make sure this one's not this.
Yeah.
Where did this one come
Look.
What are we doing?
Waiting for
Waiting
Godot.
for Godot.
I thought we were all gonna say it together.
Waiting for Godot. Dun dun dun!